Hey, welcome to Failcraft. I'm Hammy, and we have a brand new Hearthstone expansion on the way. More details about when it's going to be releasing in a little bit. But first up, it is none other than the Grand Tournament, as you can see. So from the logo, live on the 22nd of July. We've just seen the news. Eric Dodds has gone, and in a live event, Hearthstone have announced that there's a new expansion coming up, 130 cards, and it's going to be with us pretty soon. So we're going to go through a bit about the background, go through the first cards, have a little bit of a first impressions of them. It's kind of hard to analyse without seeing the full set, and as the stream is still going on, there might be a card or two still being revealed, but I wanted to get in and share these as soon as we could. So first, a little bit of background about the idea behind the Grand Tournament. Blizzard took a look at the Argent Tournament and thought, okay, well, after the Argent Tournament is finished, after those people have proven themselves in destroying Arthas in World of Warcraft lore, the Argent Tournament was set up as a way of showing off champion skills rather than having to go and beat up people who were trying to destroy the world. Sounds quite a sensible thing to do. Invites went out all over the Hearthstone world and in the Warcraft universe. This is where it splits a little bit. Eric Dodds then talked a bit about things such as people like Murlocs getting invites, and you can see in this first bit of concept art all kinds of people, including Murlocs, Clockwork Knights, and all of the kind of people who you probably wouldn't see in a usual Warcraft tournament. A few Pandarans, why not, jumping in on their various steeds and getting involved in the action. So as we jump onto our next bit, you can see here from a bit of concept art we've got all kinds of craziness going on. Murlocs on Murloc mounts, little jester names, and all of the usual Hearthstone comedy style chaos in an expansion world. So jumping through, we've got a little bit about cool things, cool little mounts and things going on. We've got something that looks like a Tuskar riding a turtle, and mini frost elementals and all kinds of crazy madness. So that is our Grand Tournament theme. So what does the Grand Tournament actually bring to gameplay? Well, pirates riding parrots. This is actually one of the legendary cards which we're going to take a little look at in a second, and all other kinds of anarchy. Here's our first card. So Sky Captain Crag, we talked about pirates riding parrots. There you go, 4 attack and 6 health. Costs 1 less for each friendly pirate, and his ability is of course charge. It's not just a normal charge, it's a charge, which I'm pretty sure is going to, as well as my poor pirate impression, focus on lots of different fun new bits and bobs. Costing 1 less for each friendly pirate. So if you want a pirate deck, you've already got the pirate tribe, the pirate theme. If you want to throw in a Sky Captain, not just a captain but a captain as well, then he could be quite cheap. He could be a nice additional force. You're obviously not wanting to place our Sky Captain friend here for 7 mana, but not too bad if you have some friendly pirates on the table, maybe a few ships, cannons and similar. You can get him in and charge. 4 attack and 6 health is a reasonably chunky card. He can probably do some damage and have some fun. Next was a slightly interesting one, Lock and Load. When this was announced on the screen, you had people sort of kind of going hooray and sort of face palming in equal measure. Remember, there's 130 cards I forgot to mention in this expansion, so we don't know how it's all going to affect the meta. We're just seeing some selected little bits of the different things that the Grand Tournament is going to offer us. But Lock and Load certainly looks like a pretty powerful hunter spell, and the reason for that: 2 mana each time you cast a spell. After you cast Lock and Load, add a random hunter card to your hand. So picture yourself in a high mana hunter situation. You've got a lot of spells that you kind of want to get sorted and get done. You do have to spend that 2 mana to cast Lock and Load first, but once you've cast Lock and Load, you're adding a random hunter card to your hand. It could be a spell, it could be a kill command, it could be a web spinner, it could be a totally trashy beast drop, or it could be an amazing hunter spell that saves your bacon. It could be a Gazira, it could be a King Crush. It's a random hunter card. It's not even a random hunter spell. So play this, play a bunch of hunter spells, and you fill your hand as a hunter with cards. Now, what does this mean for kind of rush hunters and things like that? Off the top of my head, and without seeing the rest of the expansion, if you play a rush hunter in the late game, you often find yourself throwing down spells to try and finish the game up, and in that situation you're running out of options. This gives you as a hunter a whole bunch more options if you drop a few of these in, particularly in the sort of later stage of a rush hunter style game. Mid-range hunter can find some use from this too. It lets you refill your hand as a hunter with things that may or may not be of use, and that is the random element. So certainly very interesting. We've seen Trample Amaz on a live stream just now, playing it and using it certainly to try and refill hand. Actually, no, it was Mage against Shaman the first game, so maybe there's going to be another one. It'll be interesting to see lock and load if they play a Hunter match, but certainly can see uses for that in terms of refilling your hand. Is going to be an interesting card that I'm sure Hunters are going to play. Next up, we've got Maiden of the Lake. Very much like this as a neutral minion. People like the look of this. The second thing, there's kind of two different things that Blizzard were taking a look at. The first of those was seeing if they could introduce cards that interact more with hero powers. So that's one theme, one game mechanic that we're seeing. Another one is Inspire, a new keyword, and we'll come on to that with the card that has Inspire on shortly. But here is the example one that Eric Dodds was talking about on the stream. Your hero power costs 1 mana. Blizzard are looking in this expansion to introduce more things that engage with your hero power. So there you go. Cheaper hero power. The Maiden of the Lake is fairly hard to remove with 6 health, 4 mana and 2 attacks. Not going to be swinging in and doing loads of damage, but a familiar character from the Argent tournament. And of course, if you know your Arthurian legends, if you're familiar with Merlin and Arthur, the Knights of the Round Table, maybe if you're a Monty Python fan, all of that rich sort of lore of English history. The Maiden of the Lake translates across into World of Warcraft and the Argent tournament, but she held aloft Excalibur in the Legend of Arthur. And the Knights of the Round Table, sort of ancient English British kind of myth and legend to a degree. But yes, so your hero power costing 1, well, you can be swiping away for pretty much nothing. It's going to be really, really nuts. Imagine 1 mana fireballs, and then of course going all the way through to 1 mana armor ups. It's going to make hero powers just so easily playable if you can keep the Maiden of the Lake on the table. And all of the interesting combos. 1 mana totems for a Shaman, yes please. There are other interesting cards that affect Shaman that we'll come and have a look at in a little bit as well. But yeah, Maiden of the Lake, I can definitely see that seeing play. 2 attacks, 6 health. Some Free Protectors, Defender of Arguses, that can actually be a reasonable wall. You don't want it to die, but obviously keeping that 1 hero power will be pretty fun as well. Next we've got the Lowly Squire, and this introduces to Hearthstone Inspire. Now Inspire is a new mechanic which means that every time that your hero power is played, I believe, then Inspire will trigger. So every time I use my hero's power, Lonely Squire here will gain 1 attack. So Lonely Squire at the moment is a 1/1/2. He's not bad, he's not awful, but every time he gains an attack, he can become an absolute beast. So if I use my hero power, he gains an attack. And the thing is that there's going to be a bunch more combos. Blizzard are quite interested to see how Inspire is going to attack. So Lowly Squire, because a lot of neutral minions apparently are going to interact with this Inspire mechanic. A Priest may find some Inspire minions more useful than a Shaman, for example. I could keep healing this minion, for example, with my Priest hero power. And there will be lots of different combos that Inspire is going to generate, and different classes will like different combos. Can be a lot of fun experimenting to see which is good with which. But there you go, that is Lowly Squire himself, looking a little bit worried there, but not to worry, he can get very big very quickly. So I like the sort of idea of Inspire. You know, if you think of your hero is inspiring all of your minions on the battlefield by casting their hero power around, and suddenly all of your minions getting more strong, more skills because of it. So that's an interesting little look at Lowly Squire. Next we've got Koldara Drake, and this looks absolutely mad. In terms of hero power interaction, you can use your hero power any number of times. I think that's self-explanatory. Of course, you need to be in a high mana situation, but if you combo that maybe with something like our little friend that was just coming up before, Maiden of the Lake, your hero power costs 1, and then you've got a Koldara Drake, you can use your hero power any number of times. I can be throwing out 1 mana fireballs, just like ping, 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 and suddenly my fireball hero power becomes a Pyroblast in a 10 mana situation. Thinking of those combos, but you could have that situation. You could have a Maiden of the Lake and a Koldara Drake on the table, and then you can suddenly do with 10 mana 10 damage, but you can target that damage of course because it's a hero power. Really, really exciting that. But otherwise, Koldara Drake 6/6/6. Remember, this is mage only, of course. It's a mage dragon. Our beautiful little blue border there, and of course, in line with other Hearthstone style expansions, you're going to be getting your class specific cards as well, just like the adventure mode. So there is Koldara Drake. Pretty interesting card. I'm pretty sure mages are going to be, even at this second, thinking of how they can try and abuse hero powers to their advantage. And if only as a priest I was thinking of shadow form and trying to do damage with that, but sadly it's a mage only card. Next we've got Frost Giant. Blizzard are a big fan of the old giants. They Eric Dodds in the actual stream was talking about how they quite like the sort of giant mechanic and having these big minions that can come in, but they a bit easier to play if you've got different things that you can do. So Frost Giant jumps in, costs 1 less, of course, hero powers, what we were talking about, one of Blizzard's 2 key elements for this Grand Tournament expansion. Costs 1 less for each time you used your hero power this game. Now, not too bad, if you think about it. Hero powers previously, as was sort of discussed on the stream, used to be a thing that were a little bit of a pinch. You know, you'd use them in a pinch, or you'd use them to smooth out your curve. Now they're kind of almost being incentivized as things that you want to play a bunch more. You really want to get these out, play them, and try and get them involved, and Frost Giant is an ideal element of that. If I keep on using my hero power, someone who tunes into the stream regularly said, hey, Handlock just got a new card. Well, if I'm a Warlock, if I'm playing a Handlock style, I'm life tapping and life tapping. Warlocks who are handlocking generally want to try and use life tap as much as they can to get all of their big cards out, to fill their hand with cards, activate things like Mountain Giant, maybe reduce their health so they can play Molten Giant, which of course it costs less for the damage that you've taken. If you played a lot of those, then suddenly your Frost Giant might be 6-7 mana at worst. It could be even more than that if you've managed to life tap quite a lot as a Warlock. One example of where Frost Giant could be quite cool. But of course, if you are playing your cheaper hero power, maybe Mage Giants is going to become a thing again. Back when Hearthstone first started, everyone was playing Mage Giants, and filling their hands with cards and then throwing out all of their Mountain Giants and Molten Giants and similar. So you can already see a junior combo there. Maiden of the Lake. If you get Maiden of the Lake, Koldara Drake and a Frost Giant down as a mage, then well played to you, sir or madam. That would be an insane combination. But yes, very, very interesting. So Frost Giant, a nice addition to the Giant family, and I'm sure there's plenty of ways that we're going to be able to slot that in. Another card that did come up, and I just failed to grab the screenshot of this. This is literally, the stream is finishing now, so there might have been a card or two that we've not actually seen. But this was none other than Nexus Champion Sarad, and you can see riding a sort of, I've forgotten what they're called. Lots of them kicking around recent expansions, but Nexus Champion Sarad, you can see him there riding his sort of spectral mount. Now the stats for Nexus Champion Sarad, because I tweeted it at the time, costs 5 mana, and this is the art of the card, 4 attack and 5 health, and then he has an Inspire of add a random spell to your hand. Now in the show match, we saw, I can't remember whether it was Trump or Amaz, but they were basically getting loads of random spells added to their hand. Anytime they use their hero power, they get a random spell, and it could be any spell. It's not a hero specific spell that you're playing. I think Nexus Champion was a neutral, can't quite remember. I will double check that for you, but it's worth checking. But whoever was playing it was adding a whole bunch of spells to their hand, and my initial thought when I saw it was, oh, Nefarian, and throwing around spells, wanting to use your hero power as much as possible, cheaper hero power, and then using it loads and loads and loads. So there's Nexus Champion Sarad, another card that is going to be coming on into Hearthstone at some point soon. So very much looking forward to that. There were a few other cards that have literally just been shown in the show match, and as you can see, do forgive my horrible screenshotting and photoshopping. These cards have not actually been released yet, I believe, on the Hearthstone website, but we will come back and do a video that rounds all of these up with better art and a few more in-depth thoughts. First up there, we've got Totem Golem. Shaman card. Overload 1, now this is actually a totem, so it will benefit from all of the various Shaman totem cards that increase attack, increase health, and all of that kind of thing. And we can see a little combo here too. So Totem Golem, 2 attack. Now for a 2 mana drop, that's really solid. 3 attack and 4 health. For an overload of 1, don't forget we've got Lava Shock that removes all of your overloads, but you would happily play that on turn 2. A very, very nice drop for a Shaman. 3 attack and 4 health. You could be tagging that as a wall, you could be using it to trade against aggro. Many good options there. But it is a totem and can benefit, of course, from all of the totem effects. Let's not forget that. Next up, we've got an Effigy there. Now that is a mage card, I do believe, from the outline. And when a friendly minion dies, summoning random minion with the same cost. It's kind of like the effect of Recombobulator, I do believe. If I remember correctly, but you summon a random minion with the same cost. Who knows what it's going to be? Little Mage Secret there, of course, so that's going to trigger with all of the usual secret shenanigans. Let's say if we could play that when there was a huge bunch of expensive minions on the table, then summoning a random 8-cost minion, should it be the one to die at the end of the game, would be pretty powerful. And in fact, that kind of tempts me into a Mage Giants, for example. With Frost Giant, that could make a comeback. You've got Frost Giant, you've got these things with hero powers. If I played Effigy in a Mage deck, for example, I'd probably want it to be a late game kind of play. There's some secrets that you really want to play, like Resurrect, for example, or priest cards and various things that you want to play when you've got big value minions in. But say, if a 7, 8 or 9 mana minion dies, for example, you're pretty much going to get something that's going to be pretty good in replacement if that secret can trigger. So try and play it late game, I would say. Big welcome to Sim, big welcome to all of you joining on stream. It's good to see a bunch of you here. Can't see all of your names, but Obering, Nikki Duval, Buff Sausage, good to see you too. So that is Effigy. We're then going to have a look at Draenei Totem Carver, and the battle cries gain +1/+1 for each friendly totem. Now that's a 4/4/4. When we do our regular arena drafts, we talk about solid minions that have matching mana, health, and attack, and if they don't have a negative text effect on the card there, are ones that you can pretty much pick in an arena, and they're going to do something. You can play it, and they're good on curve, and very, very nice to play. Now, Draenei Totem Carver fulfills all of those criteria, and then look at that battle cry. If I've got totems on the table, suddenly my 4-drop becomes a 5-drop, a 7-drop. If I've been playing my hero power a lot and inspiring other cards on the table, this kind of incentivizes shamans to put totems down. I can play the Totem Golem on turn 2 with an overload and have a really solid board. So suddenly that Draenei Totem Carver, even though it's 4 mana, if you manage to build totems on the board before playing it, you suddenly get really, really good value from that card. Its mana efficiency is really, really excellent. So Shaman have got a nice shot in the arm with the cards that we've seen so far. 2-class minions there that we can see, looking pretty cool. And that is that. There was another card on the stream that I spotted, and it was a Kodo summoner, a Kodo champion, and anytime that a trigger effect happened, it would summon a 3/5 Kodo. It was pretty nasty. I'm not entirely sure if I can whip it up quickly. I'll just have a real quick look. This is of course being cast live on stream, so for you guys on YouTube, do come and join us on some other occasion. There we go. I believe I've just found it. The Kodo Rider. There we go. We've got a couple more cards which I'm going to whip up, and these are, I do have to say, courtesy of Hearthstone.com, who have been, as always, absolutely splendid. So what I'm just going to do is grab a little screen region, and we're going to take a look at some of these final cards. But this will be the card I was thinking of. Thank you very much, Hearthporn. You should totally go to hearthporn.com. They are most awesome, and full credit where credit is due. This image is from their site. So, as you can see, screen grabs galore. That was the Kodo Rider. Inspire, summoning a 3/5 War Kodo whenever you use your hero power. So 6 mana, 3 attack and 5 health, so slightly understated. But if you can get that on the table and use your hero power, it's almost an insta-kill because you can swarm those. Think of like a Grim Patron kind of effect. You can be swarming away with that Kodo Rider. So that's a pretty nasty neutral minion. I'm pretty sure we're going to try and see people trying to use and abuse that kind of effect. Fallen Hero there. Is that on the Mage card, or am I getting confused? Your hero power deals 1 extra damage. Oh, so you've got a 2 mana, 2 attack, a nasty 2 attack hero power there rather than 1. Suddenly Fire Blast becomes a little bit more nasty. We're seeing Mage and Shaman revealed here, aren't we? And we've got another one there. Lots of, is that more? That's even more Shaman cards. Lots of different cards for each of the classes here. So pretty awesome indeed. Oh, that is my stream chat. I do apologise for that. Tuskar Totemic, so the Tuskar, that's what I was thinking of earlier. Battlecry, summon any random totem. So you can see playing a Totem Golem on turn 2, a Tuskar Totemic, you get another random totem on turn 3, and then you can play into the Draenei Totem Caller on turn 4. There you go. So already you can see this grand tournament Shaman style mana curve coming together, looking very, very cool indeed. And then finally you've got the Thunder Bluff Valiant, so of course a Kodo riding a Tauren on a Kodo, can't quite see that there. I'm going to use my grand zoom vision a little bit. Maybe an orc riding a Kodo there. Inspire, giving your totems 2 attack, and that's giving your totems 2 attack whenever you use your hero power. So we filled our board with totems, we threw in a Draenei Totem Carver, found other ways of getting totems on the board, and then suddenly our totems get 2 attack. We've thrown on the Thunderbluff Valiant on turn 5, 3 attack, 6 health. That's going to be quite hard to remove from the table. And then suddenly, every time we are summoning more totems, our totems are getting huge attack. And then we throw down Bloodlust. I mean, totally theorycraft. We have no idea how all of the other 100 out of the 130 cards that are going to be in this expansion, how they're going to interact with all of these. So remember, we're looking at these sort of 8 to 10 cards in sort of a microcosmic fashion, just as a really small part of the entire big picture. But we can already see lots of exciting things there for Shaman. Really, really cool. Very much enjoying the look at that. So there is the end of our little look at the first 10 cards. What is going to be coming up now? Well, there's of course a new board. We should have a little look at that. I'm going to just float myself into the middle. You can put myself between our warrior and mage friend there, and you can see different bits. The arrow butts there, all of it's interactable. These people cheer for you apparently. They do different things depending on whether you're winning or losing. I think Eric Dodd said as well. And you can actually eat food from the table, and there are a few surprises there as well. So there is the new game board as well, of course. There will always be a game board coming with any new Hearthstone expansion. And there's a little something announced. It was a pre-purchase program. So from next week, today's the 22nd of July, from next week you can pre-purchase. And when you pre-purchase, you can buy 50 packs. I think they said at a bit of a reduced rate, or a sort of a bit of an incentive to pre-order. You can get a little bit of a cheaper price per pack than you normally would, which was pretty cool. And you of course get the Splendid Argent Tournament card back. Very, very cool looking. I like the look of that. And the final thing that you're really interested in: when does it release? Next month, so it's going to be out in August, the new Hearthstone expansion. So this was the Grand Tournament, looking very, very, very cool. So there you go, 130 new cards. As a little summary, you've got 130 new cards. You have an Inspire mechanic. Any card or text that has Inspire, it triggers every time you use your hero power. You also have new cards that interact a lot more with hero powers. Blizzard are trying to do things. The new mechanic is interacting with hero powers, so very, very cool indeed. Thank you so much for tuning in. That's our really, really quick roundup of the Grand Tournament news, along with the first 10 cards of the expansion that have been announced live on stream, a little bit about the Inspire mechanic, a little bit about the new mechanic around interacting with hero powers, and then of course let's not forget pre-order program for 50 packs is going to be live from next week, and the I keep wanting to call it Argent Tournament, the Grand Tournament releases sometime in August. Now it's just next month, it could be the end of August, it could be in a couple of weeks, we just don't know. So thanks for tuning in. This has been live on twitch.tv/FalcraftCast. If you're on YouTube, do like, comment, subscribe, let us know what you think. What do you think of the new cards? Do you think they're awesome? Are you looking forward to seeing more? What do you think of the new mechanics? Please let us know in the comments below. And of course, you can come and join us on stream, twitch.tv/FalcraftCast. We try and go live on those a little bit lower down times, and we'll always tweet on that FalcraftCast on Twitter when we're going to be going live. Last but not least, the website, falcraft.org. We try and get all the videos up on a little bit of delay. We also post some articles and things as well. And for a whole bunch of Hearthstone, including our 2-minute deck guides, Arena Tuesdays where you pick your own arena, some sort of introductory guides and thinking processes, all kinds of things for new players, and then just some fun and fails as well as all Tavern Brawls. Go check out our YouTube, the entire archive is in there. Thanks very much for tuning in. Hopefully see you soon. This is Falcraft and I've been Hammy. Looking forward to more Grand Tournament news. Take it easy.